Joe Kent. Now, he is a failed Republican congressional candidate twice.
Joe Kent pushed the analysts to make changes to protect his boss and the president from being attacked.
Mark Warner of the Senate Intelligence Committee put out a statement yesterday that says the Senate should immediately halt consideration of Mr. Kent's nomination to lead that agency. I would agree with the senator.
Okay, the Democrats, all the media, they used to hate him. They smeared him as an extremist who hung around with Nazi sympathizers. But now, well, Joe Kent is the liberal darling du jour, and it's all because he's turning on Donald Trump. Now, the former head of the National Counterterrorism Center is resigning over the Iran war. He wrote in a very huffy letter, Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. So now he went from being an extremist kook to suddenly credible. He's reasonable. No, he's just useful to the left.
Mr. Kent writing this sort of sentence that'll live on forever when the history of this chapter is written and the chapter on the war in Iran is written.
We need experts who stand up, speak out, and I commend Joe Kent for resigning because it's important that the public knows that the justification for going to this war was a lie.
Here to react, Dan Bongino, Fox News contributor, former deputy director of the FBI. All right, Dan. Now, we've seen this before, right? And it's usually people who are really have gone hard left on everything. George Conway, Liz Cheney, John Bolton, John Kasich. The list goes on and on. You turn on Donald Trump, and they embrace you for a time.
Yeah, this is the whose ox is gored effect. I mean, I've seen it with me during, my tenure in the administration where they'll pick some right-wing radio host or podcaster they hate who they call the conspiracy theorist or a nut job. And the minute he says something against someone they hate, Donald Trump or in my case me, they'll be like respected voice in the conservative movement. They do this all the time. You're going to see this with Joe Kent in the coming days. Listen, Joe's decorated history of service is beyond reproach, and his sacrifice with his family is just unspeakable. I don't even like to think about
his wife, who passed,
however,
who was killed.
Yeah, I mean, her name is emblazoned on a plaque in a facility I can't really talk about. And when you read the story there, it's a tough story to read. But, again, as I've said with other, the sacrifice is beyond reproach. That doesn't mean that this current opinion is any more fact-based, because it's not. I'm really sorry, Laura. I mean, I read probably a lot more intelligence than he did because they don't have a law enforcement function, the National Counterterrorism Center. They're an analytical clearinghouse. They're valuable. However, I had access to just about everything. And how you could come to the conclusion that the Israelis did it and there was no imminent threat here? Really? What about the anti-ship ballistic missiles, the drone program, 440 kilograms of 60% enriched nuclear material, their constant death to America chance? I mean, that's called evidence. In some limited circles, we call that, a clue. I mean, I don't know at what point you thought this wasn't an imminent threat after you've read a lot of the stuff I read. And by the way, that's just the open source stuff we can talk about on the air. I promise you, the president, has a bevy of material that if he could do the Men in Black thing and erase your mind tomorrow, if he told you right now, you would come to the imminent threat conclusion in a snap.
Well, a senior U.S. official told Fox on Background that Joe Kent was cut out of presidential intel briefings months ago due to allegations that he was suspected of leaking and that he hasn't been part of any Iran discussions or briefings. But, I mean, he's beloved. I don't know him well. I think he's been on the show a few times, but he's beloved. He served his country, proudly. He said he's very proud of serving in this administration, but he disagrees deeply. And I think respectfully, on this one issue. But he also said back in 2024, Dan, that Iran is poised to attack. Biden and the D.C. war machine has given them plenty of options to harm us by leaving our troops deployed in small bases in Iraq, Syria, and Jordan. Back in 2020, he said Trump's restraint shows that he wants to deal with Iran, and his red line is American loss of life and Iranian nuke development. And by all accounts, their nuke development had not been abating. In fact, it was speeding up.
I mean, Laura, again, like what more, if you were making a court case here for a threat that was imminent, right? You know, we had Erbil, Beirut, the Khobar Towers, EFPs, explosively formed penetrators in the Iraqi battlefield. We've had drone attacks. We've had threats of drone attacks. We've had, decades of hostage taking in the Strait. We've had decades of actual hostage taking in our own embassy. Cafe Milano. You've had lethal plotting. Asif Merchant, the federal case, and the Pakistani at the IRGC's beholding in the assassination case. What more evidence could you possibly need that this was an actual threat that was imminent? And they still want a nuclear weapon while chanting death to America so much it's just become, you say it on TV, it almost sounds like you're telling a story.
No. Well, Trump's doing what others didn't want to do. And it's a risk to him politically, and he did it anyway. Dan, thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.